Thank you, Mr. Verstandig. I know that took some courage for you to come forward today. I know you and I have had a number of conversations, and I'll again encourage you to make your comments directly to the individual who filed the complaint. And thank you for clarifying that it was no one on this board who filed any sort of complaint. I know that you chose this forum to speak at. You'll have another opportunity later today and other times as well. We value free speech highly, and as you know, our police department investigates any complaint they get, and they proceeded with it in a manner that you acknowledge was that you and I have discussed, and acknowledge that they had to follow up on what they were given. All right. Oh, Mr. Rodgers, you wanted to speak on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to weigh my voice to that as well. We certainly want to hear from all residents. As the mayor said, if someone files a complaint, the police do follow up on it regardless if there's anything there, and city staff told me there was absolutely nothing there. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you continuing to show up after something like that happens, and I hope you would continue to show up as well. We hear critics on us all the time, and we love to hear from them just as much as we love to hear from those who agree with us. So for everyone out there, please continue to show up and speak your mind. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you. It is by coincidence, actually, that Mr. Verstandig is here today and made his comments, although we have had some conversations since that happened. I made a statement. I have written a statement that I was planning to make today based on this particular issue, and it is very close to my heart. So I just want to say that I know Mr. Verstandig because he comes to meetings, he follows issues, and he gets up and he speaks his mind, and he speaks it rather passionately at times, and I can't say I always agree, whether he agrees with me or I agree with him, but there's a level of respect, and so I encourage you to continue to do that, and all residents to do that. And it's interesting because I'm going to read my statement, and it almost sounds like we collaborated and wrote this. But I guess what it is that, you know, the heart of free speech and the issue of free speech really speaks very much to me, and obviously you feel the same way. So if you would indulge me, I just want to share that this is an issue that has actually weighed on my mind and heart for several weeks now since this incident took place, and I did speak to the citizen in Boca Raton. And I struggled with it, or even if I should bring it forward, if I brought it forward, how would I bring it forward? But I decided that it was important enough to my core values that I was going to speak on this issue today. So I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for my colleagues, although I'm sharing with them and welcome any comments if they desire. So I feel it is crucial, I'm just going to read my comments. I feel it is crucial to address the essential issue of civil liberties and First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. At our last joint city council meeting and Beach and Parks District meeting, there was a resident who got up and spoke during public comment. He was displeased with the Beach and Parks District, if not downright angry, and he was very straightforward in his manner to give them a piece of his mind. He was not happy, and he said so. He stated his opinion and questioned past behavior and decisions that they had made. I listened to his concerns and comments, and as we all did, and we moved on. Nothing out of order in his behavior registered as inappropriate or alarming to me. Perhaps because we are city council members, on occasion we hear citizens in disagreement regarding issues, expressing themselves with great passion, and it goes with the territory. It's part of the job, so to speak. And actually, over the past few years, I have had to learn how to grow thicker skin in doing a job as a public official. It is certainly not that we are immune to this type of behavior or negative comments. Not at all. It doesn't feel good when it happens, and if we can address the issue, I believe in doing so. If we can't, and we know it's impossible to please everyone, we listen, we process, and we move on. So why am I bringing this up today? Well, now that Mr. Verstandig was here today, you kind of know why I'm bringing it up today. I didn't expect that he would be here speaking on his own behalf today. After 24 hours after that joint meeting that I referenced, a member of the Beach and Parks District Commission filed a police report against this upset resident. I don't know firsthand, but it is my understanding that the commissioner felt threatened by his comments. With no forewarning or outreach from the commission, this law-abiding resident, however outspoken or outraged, got a knock on his door from the police department. It happened late in the evening on the following Friday night. He was shocked and frankly frightened as he was informed that there had been a police report filed against him by a member of a government agency, the Beach and Parks District Commission. I will not go into further details regarding this matter as it is not pertinent to my point. However, this police report now creates a record on the citizen's file. It is for that reason that I am speaking up today on the principle of First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. My philosophy as an elected official has always been to give people a chance to be heard. Whether I agree or not, I actually go out of my way to encourage residents to come forward. And when possible or necessary, I engage them at the podium. Who am I to decide what people can say or can't say during their time in a public setting, during a public comment, as long as they're not threatening and they're not using abusive or foul language? Every citizen has a right to their opinion and to express it publicly. If we impede that right, it is a form of censorship. Every citizen should feel they have the right to speak freely without consequences of retribution. Unrelated to any business at hand, as we address a joint meeting later today, this is strictly on this issue of First Amendment rights that I speak, nothing that we might deal with in a later meeting with this other government entity. But I wanted to say, as a fellow elected official, I agree that things might get testy and they might get uncomfortable. That's the job we took on. However, I would ask all who are elected to please consider the negative ramifications when we interfere with democracy and a person's civil liberties and freedom of speech. And with that, I have no other comments, unless you want to engage in conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. O'Rourke. Mr. Thomson.
Other than echoing the sentiments that Councilwoman O'Rourke just brought up, I don't even remember what it was that you said, but it certainly didn't give rise to, in my mind at least, to anything warranting investigation. So I think you're going to hear a lot of the same things from my colleagues, that First Amendment, our country's formed on the idea that people can we can think what we want and we can say what we want, so long as it's not threatening. And a democracy falls apart if we can't have that. So thank you, Councilwoman O'Rourke, for obviously speaking very passionately yourself about an issue close to your heart, close to my heart too. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mayotte.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to also state thank you for having the courage to come out today. Freedom of speech is the foundation of our democracy, and if we don't have that, we don't have a democracy. So I thank you for speaking out.